Hi, this is Deborah Dachinger. Welcome to the Dare to Dream radio show. It's great to be here. How rude would it be if I reached over and got my tea? I'm going to do it. I'm getting to drink my favorite tonight. It's peppermint. I love it. And the gal who works here at the radio station was so sweet. She got it just for me. So, yay, peppermint. We have a subject tonight. It's about, like, whatever happens, it's perfect. And just the only response, you decide. But the only response you use is, that's fantastic. Find out why that's true. That's fantastic. Find out why that's true. Whatever the situation is, whatever happens to you. So how do you listen to us? Well, there are many ways. You can listen to us live on 92.5 kyhy.com Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time, or tune into toginet.com. That's a mouth twister. It's toginet.com/dare to dream. Also, lots of links. My website contains all the archive shows, so you can go there anytime. It'll bleep you right over to iTunes, and the site's fun anyway, so check it out. It's DeborahDachinger.com, DeborahDachinger.com. And I have a blog spot. Listen, if it's in between shows or just on a day and you feel like reading something a little inspirational, because that's what we write, is about making dreams come true, go to my blog spot. It is Deb on the Radio at blogspot.com. In fact, you can use Deb on the Radio for a lot of things to get in touch with me. That's my Twitter. That's my YouTube. This is going to be a YouTube video, so I have a lot of YouTube videos, Deb on the Radio. And that's also my dig, my stumble, my all of that. Please join us, Facebook. We love that so many of you are signing up there, because that will alert you to all interviews. And tonight's a great interview. I'm interviewing an astronaut. Can I tell you this? The other night I was sitting there going, all of a sudden, well, what are the odds of a human being becoming an astronaut? Check this out. This is for real. 12,100,000 to 1. So I have not only a real dreamer, but a doer who's coming on the show tonight. I'm really excited. Also, besides YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, Facebook, Dare to Dream Radio and TV. Join us there, and you'll learn tons. We alert you for all interviews, give you links, and we love to hear from you. So, the subject tonight, the subject du jour is, that's fantastic. So what does that mean? Well, it means that whatever happens to you, you find a way to go to the next side. You find a way to supersede whatever's going on. I see my light is going on, which means that my guest is here, but we're going to finish this. So this is a little excerpt from Michael Bernard Beckwith's book called Spiritual Liberation. He wrote, "Today I consciously turn the key to the treasure house of my inner being. I attune myself to my true nature. Any agreements I have made in the past with mediocrity, any excuses I have used to postpone fully expressing my essential self are now broken. I confidently step into a larger dimension of myself. When I ask my spirit within, what is my highest purpose, I hear its answer in a language my heart can understand and respond to. I take action on my intuitive guidance I receive, and I am faithful to it." So this is about not playing small. This is about saying, look, I was put here for a reason. And there's a lot of things. I can be my worst enemy, my biggest obstacle, my biggest hindrance, my biggest mogul, me. It's probably not out there, me, or not. Or I can come here and be as powerful as I was really created to be. There's no reason to pretend you have limitations, or there's any reason to be small. You were born to be big as you are in the passions and dreams that you have. So go for it. So here's the deal with that's fantastic. Years and years ago, like probably 15 or so, I was at a function where somebody got up and spoke, and how many times have I been at these functions? This story has stayed with me all these years. And this gentleman got up and he said that someone taught him that no matter what happens, your response is, that's fantastic. And you hold that attitude. He and his wife went on a trip after he had been given this instruction. And they pulled up and they were about to go into the hotel, right, to register. They already had a reservation. Awesome. Well, they're about to go into the hotel, when they find out upon check-in that the hotel is so booked they can't be taken. They have to be turned away. So the gentleman makes a decision right there and then, instead of getting mad because he already had a reservation, he goes, well, isn't that fantastic? And so all the people at the desk are like, wow, it's pretty interesting. They said, well, sir, we feel so terrible that what we're going to do is we are going to call right now for you to another hotel. It's down the road, and we're going to make sure that we can get you a room there. Is that okay? He says yes. They book him a room. Well, he goes across town. He goes to this new hotel with his wife, and it turns out that this place is even nicer than the last place. And it costs the same. So he's in an even more beautiful hotel. He's checking in. That's fantastic. And as he's checking in, someone calls out his name. Turns out it's a gentleman that he used to be very good friends with and by circumstance had completely lost touch with, but had always thought about and wanted to reconnect with. He turns around, reconnects with a guy. That's fantastic. Well, his story goes on, and I just remember sitting there going, that's amazing. He had no resistance. He had no obstacles. He had nothing to what was exactly going on in the moment except to accept it, to flow with it, and say, this is extraordinary. Let's go on down the river and find out why. And I just adore that story. So I've decided to start using that in my life. For instance, last week, I had double booked interviews here in the studio, back to back. I'm about to leave for the studio when the phone rings, and I am told by the station manager there's smoke in the studio, something's gone wrong, and the smoke has created so much damage in the equipment we can't do a radio show, so he has to cancel everything for the night. That's fantastic! So I did what I had to do. I let it go. I said something good will turn out of this, and it did. First I called the first gal, and I rescheduled her. No problem. I called the second person, and I was canceling her, and she said, listen, for the work I do, I have an 800 number. We can use that 800 number and still create an MP3 so you can run the show. And I said, well, I can edit the show, and I can make it so that it is an actual radio show. We agreed to do it. We did it over the telephone from our respective homes, and I have to tell you, it was a wonderful interview. We had an amazing connection, and she's a great gal. That's fantastic. The show maybe turned out better than if I had come in here. And here's the ice cream on the cake. I later got a phone call from the station owner who said, you know, kind of hate to say this, but it's actually great that there was smoke in the studio. We ended up finally finding new equipment to replace it with, and it turned out it's better than the equipment that was here before, so everything's even more operational and slick. That's fantastic. So just try that, because you never really know why things are turning out the way they do. The other day my boyfriend was so bummed because he said, you know, anytime President Obama comes to Los Angeles, we get hit where we live. He stays in a hotel that's near us. I'm not going to tell you where, but he stays in a hotel that's near us. And, of course, they're not going to tell anyone in the NABE that the Prez is coming. So just all of a sudden, the motorcycle cops start coming through, and everything is stopped. All streets are cut off. You can't drive out in the streets. He was so frustrated. He went to leave. President Obama had come. He was going to his hotel. Nobody had alerted us, and all of a sudden he was sequestered in the house. He couldn't leave. He couldn't go to work. He was so frustrated. And I told him, you know, just breathe. Just breathe, relax, let it go. It's going to be perfect. It's fantastic. President Obama's like down the block. You know, how bad could it be? So he did, because what other choice is there? I guess you could worry yourself into oblivion, but he didn't. He just breathed and relaxed. And even though he did hit some traffic, the road did eventually open up. He actually ended up only being 20 minutes late for work, obviously called them, and all was fine. It really was fine. And I say that's fantastic because sometimes I believe there are things we don't know, ways we're protected we may not know about it. Perhaps if he had left on time, there would have been some accident. Perhaps if he had left on time, something might have happened to him or his car, or he might have seen something that, you know, was traumatic. Maybe he was being protected. We'll never know. But all we know is things sometimes turn out the way they do, and if we just flow with them, life will be so much easier, right? And then we have all that time and energy to go for our dreams. So just to end this, William Whitecloud the author, he's an amazing author, wrote, "There is never anything to do but always action to take. Action is about taking direct steps based on the obvious toward creating what you want. Everyone has a heart. Having a heart means that you do have dreams, that there are things you love, things that are deeply important to you. So create that in your world. Your focus creates your reality. Your experience in life is determined by what you put your attention on. If you focus on end results, you inevitably attract what you want. So what do you want to attract? If you walk around all day and say, okay, maybe this is perfect, that's fantastic. And just stay in that energy of let go, relax, release. See what comes up, and you may find out in 5 minutes, 5 hours, why things were meant to turn out the way they were. Always be aware and awake for the miracle, and your dreams are so worth coming true. Please stick around for the interview, Dare to Dream. We love having you. Dreamers rock.